back to another episode of the Girl Power Alliance podcast. I have an incredible woman on the podcast today. Let me tell you a little bit about Chanel. She is a client experience specialist. I just want to say that again. A client experience specialist who's on a mission to help visionary Christian female coaches reflect Christ's love by serving their clients well while scaling their business. Obedient to God's calling, she, through her company, the Robe Way, that's her name, Chanel Robe, works with coaches who intentionally keep their business small because they are unsure how to scale and to continue serving their clients well. She uses her client wow factor framework to provide client experience management services so they can scale to multi six figures by implementing increased accountability and simple, effective business systems to wow their clients. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And of course, I read your incredible business bio, but would you like to share a little bit more about you personally, like where you live and all of that fun stuff?
Okay, no problem. So I am from the island of Jamaica. I'm an island girl. That means I don't deal well with the cold, right? I'll always laugh about that. But so I've lived in Jamaica basically all my life. I'm a Jamaican. I travel a lot, though, even though COVID has kind of like grounded me. And I mean, when I'm not doing business, for me, generosity is a big thing. So I'm always looking something that the Lord just literally placed in my heart and grounded it. And so for me, I'm always looking for opportunities to either mentor young girls like who were my former self, or looking to actually sponsor persons from an educational perspective. I'm really big on education. It's actually a part of my brand. And the reason why I do what I do in business because of that educational aspect.
Wow. You're an incredible woman. And I think that one of the things that I was so excited about when you and I met was just your heart for the Lord. And I think that, first of all, it comes through just instantaneously to me, that heart that you have to serve. And the fact that really so much of who you are is rooted in your faith. I would love to hear, like, did you grow up in a Christian home, or how did you come to the faith?
Well, I didn't grow up in a Christian home, but my mom was one of those mothers who sent you to church regardless. So every Sunday, you have to get dressed because you're getting out and you're going to go to Sunday school and you're going to go to church. I got saved when I was about 15 years old. And I mean, I tell people, I joke all the time that even though I got saved at 15, people, God knows how to draw us all, right? Because I got saved out of curiosity more than anything else. I was seeing people getting in spirit, and I was just like, yeah, I want to know what that's all about. So I went in and I got it, but I didn't actually find Christ, or Christ found me, until a year later when I had a one-on-one experience with him. And basically that changed my life because I came to know the God behind religion.
Mm.
And from there, it's been an upward journey since. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's been an easy journey. It hasn't. There have been times when I've literally stepped back, but I mean, especially within the last 2 years, the Lord has literally been doing a work within me, just totally transforming me, transforming the outlook of who I am and who I thought I could be, right? Which along the path of that is where my business came in.
See, isn't he so good? And I love to share stories like yours with other women because, there's somebody listening who's where you were 2 years ago. And so this journey of hearing where you started, kind of how you came to the faith and how God used this journey to actually take you in to being in the marketplace now and really using all of that heart, all of your skill, all of your talent to help empower other people.
Exactly, exactly. And the thing is, I look back and I think to myself, no, 2 years ago, I could not have imagined that I'd be where I am today. Never in my wildest dream, that was not even on my horizon. I wasn't even thinking about it. But the thing is, we need to understand that God, I like to call him the master orchestrator or the master project manager, right? Because he manages us, he knows what experience we need to pick up along the way. He knows what we need to understand about ourselves, what we need to grow within us, and so forth. He puts us in those positions. He puts us into those places to cultivate us so that we can get to the point where he's able to use us the way that he knew we could always be used.
Yes. Amen to that. And so many people they don't know that. They get stuck in the circumstance and they
Yeah,
never get to this place realizing that the circumstance was it was part of it. It was part of the story to help take you to this other place.
exactly, exactly. And that's the beautiful thing about our Lord. If we remember that he loves us, even when we're in the middle of the storm, even this morning he reminded me, I'm like, God, it's raining, and I'm like halfway between I don't like the rain and I love the rain because it's cool.
Yeah.
And the Lord reminded me, Chanel, I rain even when it rains. There's purpose in the rain.
Mm, it's so true. I'm very intrigued, and I know other people are, by the manner in which you describe your business. That you work to help them have a better client experience. Tell me all about that.
So even how I ended up with the Robe Way and becoming a client experience specialist is a journey that the Lord took me on. Right. I left corporate a couple months ago after the Lord started me in a side business. And when I started, I thought this was where I'm going to stay. And the Lord took me on a journey that led me to coaches and so forth to set up my business. And then that helped me to just dive deep down into who I am as an individual and what do I actually want to bring to the marketplace. And one of the things the Lord told me is that I've ingrained within you that passion about serving well, right? And whenever I think about serving well, for me, for some reason, I always equated it to loving your neighbor as yourself. I'm somebody who's big on treating others how you would like to be treated, right? And I remember the Lord dropped that revelation in my spirit. He said to me, Chanel, from you began your career 9 years ago, one of the things that you have always been on the path doing, no matter the roles that you took on, it's about ensuring that you're implementing businesses in such a way, implementing processes and systems in such a way that the client is at the forefront, right? And so that's how I ended up becoming a client experience specialist. Once I realized that, realized I had all the skills and I had the heart for it. And not only that, he pointed me in the direction of working specifically with coaches because he said to me, Chanel, if you look at your experience from working with coaches, both as a coachee and from working with other clients who have actually been coaches themselves, one of the things you realize is that coaches, especially Christian coaches, they're showing up in purpose. But there's one thing that they're not doing quite so well that they could actually be doing a whole lot better, and that's client experience. And I know a lot of coaches hear client experience and they're like, oh my God, I am serving awesomely from the perspective of delivering services. But client experience is not just about delivering services and ensuring that your clients get results through your services. It's about delivering it throughout your entire business end to end. And so that's what I am passionate about. I'm passionate about helping that woman who realizes that she can scale and she wants to scale, but she has that deep desire as well to ensure that she's serving her clients well, right? And so I partner with her to ensure that she's able not just to scale, but also to do what's at the heart of her heart, serve with love.
Hmm. Because I think that what you're saying is a lot of women, they fear kind of going to the next level because they think they're not going to be able to serve at that same uh serve the clients as intimately, maybe. Is that kind of what you see with people, that they're kind of afraid to keep growing past that one point? There's this one point where you're like, it's either stay here and like just keep it this big, or it's really move like into the next, like a quantum leap.
Exactly, exactly. And so, for example, for Christian coaches, especially the ones who have that deep desire, they've purposely kept themselves manageable and small. And you wouldn't believe how many I've spoken to it, and those are the terms they use. I've
Wow.
kept it small, I've kept it manageable. I'm always on the lookout for a mini me because if I'm going to scale, I have to find a mini me who is able to do something, manage, my services in the way that I am doing it, right? And I'm saying, I'm here to say to you that yes, that is good, but the God has called you to so much more. And of course, you can do so much more and still serve your clients well.
It's a beautiful thing because, we serve a God who he's all about increase. He
Exactly.
is a God of increase. He wants us to increase. He wants us to teach other people to increase. He gives us resources and gifts and talents, and he wants us to increase them. So really what you're doing is it's extraordinarily biblical what you're doing. I mean, you're taking this spiritual law of increase and you are sowing it into these women's lives so that they can, really fulfill, see the full picture of how God wants to increase them. And I love that you have, like, your niche is very, very specific. Yes, you're working with
Mhm.
Christian women, but you're working with Christian women coaches.
Christian women coaches, and not just Christian women coaches, Christian women coaches who know that they can scale, who have that desire to scale, but they also have a desire to serve well, to love, literally demonstrate, as Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself by serving with excellence.
Mm. It's a beautiful thing. And you're here in Jamaica. We're literally like half a world apart. I'm in Southern California. And so where are you finding clients? I mean, I think that people would love to know. You're on an island. You literally live on an island, not a giant island. And how are you able to grow this business? And where are your clients coming from?
Online. Most of my clients hang out on Facebook, right? There are a few men who might say that they're on Instagram and LinkedIn, but my primary marketplace is on Facebook.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I mean, I know technology can have its moments where you're like, I'm sick of it, and especially social media, but what a blessing that you are able to, because of technology, because of social media, reach women literally virtually around the world,
Exactly.
because of this platform that, all you have to do is know the time zone they're in and be able to, you know, offer people your services, your skill, and your talents. It really opens up the world of entrepreneurship, for everybody in just this incredibly expansive way.
Exactly. And for me, again, I think back, it's really interesting when your mindset shifts and you're able to see things in a different way, right? Because a year ago, 2 years ago, I would not have thought that, Facebook is a marketplace, right? And it took surrounding myself with the right people, getting the necessary coaching that I needed to get to realize the potential that is there. And so, even in my journey, I'm learning as well that it's really, really important to surround your people who have a similar mindset or even have a higher mindset
Yes,
than you have so that you can actually strive to go higher.
that's right. It's so important. I was just before we started our podcast recording here, I was just doing a live on social media, literally talking excuse me, about this exact thing, about the fact that, when you are striving to be good or excellent at anything, that
Yes.
it is a commitment to the work that you have to do, but you have to be surrounded by people that know more, that are bigger, better, badder, stronger, right? You have to be. And I was coaching with a woman a couple of days ago and she was comparing her current employer,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to name her, but it's somebody that you would know, her employer and her former employer. And her former employer, as far as the world goes, is more successful, a very well named multi-billion-dollar brand, and then but was a jerk, like treated people really horribly, treated her
Mhm.
horribly. um, and then her current employer is just, she's a fearless follower of Christ. She lives that leadership all the time. And just working for this woman, not the woman is not coaching her, just being
Mhm.
around the way that this woman lives her life has shifted the girl I was coaching in dramatic ways. Just being around her.
Yes, the energy of the people you surround with is pretty important. The mindset, who they associate with. I mean, you cannot want to be a better person and you're around somebody who's not striving to be a better person.
You can't.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I thought you are going to win in terms of your personality overtakes theirs and your energy overtakes theirs, or their energy is going to overtake you. Because how can two come together if they don't agree? Right. So
Again,
that's something we definitely have to be careful about.
and it's this again, this is a biblical principle. I mean, the Bible talks a lot about bad company corrupting, and surround yourself with, with other believers, and really that fellowship time. And I think in business, it's so important. And that's why I love, when I started Girl Power Alliance, God really gave me a heart for coaches, specifically Christian coaches, which I know you share that with me,
Yes.
because there's a million coaches out there. Everybody wants to be a coach. I almost laugh because
Mhm.
everybody's a coach. But there are very few coaches that are really, really guiding people in biblical principles. That's a small group. And and I know you're doing it, I want to support and edify and speak life into these women that are coaching in that area, because I honestly, like, really good people get really bad counsel from people that are not following those principles.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that one, because you're right. Their coaches dime a dozen, right? I normally laugh and say everybody and their uncle wants to be a coach,
Yes.
right? And it's really, really hard to find not just good coaches, but also coaches who has that heart for Christ,
Yes.
right? And if especially if you're a Christian or you're somebody who really wants to thrive, I would recommend that you actually seek Christian coaches who
Yes.
actually have that heart, because then they're guiding you based on biblical principles, right? And you as a Christian should want to ensure that you're building your business on biblical principles, because the word literally touches on all areas of your life.
Yes.
The word does, right? So find somebody who has that heart, and who wants to guide you to that, right? And for me, again, it comes back to why it's so important for me is, even within my business, I am partnering myself with Christian coaches who are coaching me.
Yeah.
And I'm working with Christian coaches because I see us as we're representation of Christ,
Yes.
right? We're representation of Christ. We're the light on the earth. And I mean, if we're going to be the light on the earth, we better be serving well, right?
That's
Because
right.
we're repping Christ. We better be serving well, right?
I mean, actually, if you really think about it, you bear the weight, the responsibility of knowing that if you're calling yourself a Christian, you're his ambassador. You
Yes.
and for some people, this is why I love working with Christian women in the marketplace, because there are some people that will never set foot in a church. They'll never talk to a pastor. But they will have contact with you in the
Mm.
marketplace. And you may be the only picture of Christ that they have ever encountered. That's why it's so wildly important. That's why I love what you're doing so much, to really surround these Christian coaches with the ability to even impact more lives.
Yes. And
Um,
I love what you said about the ambassador, right? Because I immediately got that picture of a physical ambassador, the ambassador of the US in any nation, right? That man is showing up and I don't even know if it's a man or a woman, but they're showing up and they're showing out, right? They're representing for their country and they're representing well. And so even as Christian business owners, if you think you're representing for Christ, show up, represent well.
That's right. That's right. It's so important. So if somebody's listening and she is a coach, she's a Christian coach, tell me what kind of programs you offer. Do you work with people one to one? Do you have group programs? Tell me about some of your offerings.
So I'm a service provider. I actually, when I say client experience management, I actually come into your business and work alongside with you, right? Because for me, from where I sit, there are two big areas that coaches normally don't do so well in their businesses that actually impact their ability to scale one and impact their ability to serve their clients well, even in their current state. And those two areas are with their business processes and systems, your business backend.
Yes.
Lots of times, those women they're go-getters. They just want to get stuff done and they don't really get it done so well from a business backend perspective. And so I literally audit your business. end to
Mm.
end, right? Audit your business backend end to end and ensure I'm pinpointing all the areas that you need to actually clean up so that your client experience is better. And the thing is that what I always say, the thing is when you're creating a great client experience, you're also setting up yourself to scale well. It's like a little byproduct. You can't get away from it. So
Yep.
that's one end. And then the other end that I really, really focus on and I really, really think is very, very important, is very incredible, is client success and accountability. Right? A lot of times the coach have so much to offer, so much, it's like so much download that the Lord has given her, right? And she doesn't deliver so well when it comes to ensuring that her clients are held accountable and that she's just ensuring that they have the greatest experience that really sets them up for success and in turn sets her up for success, right? And so for me, those are the two biggest areas that I come into your business and I walk side by side with you along. I'm not a coach, right? I tell people I'm not a coach, not in this season anyways. I don't know what the Lord might have for me, but for now, I am a service provider who comes into your business and work hand in hand with you for 3 months, just getting those two areas right.
And I would venture to guess that when you get those two areas right, everything changes.
Everything changes because now you have clients who are literally raving about you. And I always say this, the biggest thing that you can ever have though is word of mouth.
Yeah,
Somebody who you don't have to be paying or you don't have to be thinking about marketing because they market for you on all avenues. They tell everybody
they
about you
do.
on social media, their friends and family, the stranger who they have never met before, but they're asking for recommendation. They rave about you,
Yep.
right? And even from a research perspective, that developing that client experience that produces a raving client is one of the most overlooked areas in business that it's like a $1 billion industry if you get it right.
Yeah.
Billion
Wow.
dollar industry if you get that piece right. So
And
yeah,
growing and growing. Literally,
and
it's
growing.
one of the projected like professions, industries of projected massive growth still.
Exactly, and growing. So if you imagine if you could only even tap into that, I mean you have more people to serve, but just tap into a piece of that in your business.
And we need more because people are desperate for good counsel. They're desperate to, have somebody help get them aligned, like align them in the way of the word, align them with, just to follow these principles. And sometimes it's small tweaks. It's why coaches are so important. Sometimes it's something tiny that it's just in a blind spot. So if people want to connect with you, tell them all the ways that they connect with you, either social media or your websites. How can they find you?
So I'm on social media, Facebook at Chanel.robe. Chanel with a C, just think Coco Chanel. That's
Yes,
Chanel.
that's the
And
only
robe as
one.
in clothing. And robe as in clothing. Just think that. You can also reach out to me via my website at therobeway.com. And also, if you want to reach out to me via email, it's hello@therobeway.com.
Amazing. I know, inside of our community at Girl Power Alliance, we have a lot of coaches. I want to invite you to feel free, go live in that private Facebook group whenever you want, because you are 100% right. If I have any conversations with anybody, coaches or not, it's always that back end automation that they are lacking. But there's a specific demographic. It's my age group. It's the Gen Xers that they are so lacking because they kind of, a lot of them they just didn't stay up with the new technologies as they were happening. So they're playing catch up. So they maybe have great programs and great things to offer, but they're really missing the mark because of even just that one thing, that back end stuff. So I want to invite you to share who you are and what you do, because we have so many coaches in there that can benefit from who you are and what you do in just remarkable ways. I'm so glad that we got connected, and you're just a beautiful person on the inside and the out. And I know God's just going to bless what you're doing wildly.
Thank you, Michelle. And I definitely will take you up on that invitation and check it out. And I'm also looking to be aligned with Girl Power Alliance because I believe that what you're doing is so important. I did mention it at the beginning that I'm really passionate about mentorship. I'm really big on generosity, and mentorship is just another way of me being generous, right? So I do look forward to partnering more with Girl Power Lands, and I pray that the Lord just bless the work of your hands and what you guys are doing.
Thank you. And, I am always so excited when I meet somebody like you because I know that this podcast is just the beginning of what God has planned for us. And there's lots of things. The world needs you, that needs what you're doing. What you're doing is so valuable and so important. And I feel motivated to put a spotlight and a megaphone on you so more people hear about you. And you'll be seeing her hopefully all over the Girl Power Alliance private Facebook group. And then of course, when we launch our big event next year, of course, I hope you'll come. I don't have a date yet, but when we do, you will know. We're looking at the spring. We're looking at the spring of 2020.
Woo!
2022, the spring of 2022. So you'll hopefully you'll be there. You'll get to meet her in person. And I'm just glad God brought us together.
I'm glad. I'm really glad God brought us together. I don't know why my tongue is becoming tongue tied, but I'm really glad He did, because I mean, whenever He brings two of His children together, it's normally for great things.
That's
So I
right.
look forward to it.
That's right. I agree. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again soon.
Okay, thank you.